Hello, everybody. Happy Thursday. It is Betty and Jena coming to you from our home offices in Washington, D.C. And as you will notice, we have a little we have a little canine assistant today.
Parents.
This is the newest addition to the HillVets family. This is my new rescue dog, Guava. She comes from Puerto Rico. We just picked her up last night. So we're going to keep it nice and loose because I have no idea what she's going to do. How's it going, Jena?
I'm good. I am so excited to see little Guava right there. She is even cuter than the pictures, and I just love her. And I'm excited to get some announcements going.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah. So first and foremost, we hope that everybody had a really great holiday season and took some time to rest and reflect wherever you happen to spend your holidays. 2020 was a little bit rough, but I definitely think that, I took some time over the holidays. I think you did too, Jena, to kind of think about like, what were the positive things that came out of last year? So I'll pose this question to everybody in our audience. Let us know in the comments. But then we'll start with Jena. So the question is, what was the best thing to come out of 2020 for you, personal and or professional?
Yeah, I think that's a really great question. And when we were discussing the things that we were going to talk about and you posed this question, it really got me thinking because I was really kind of doing some reflecting as we entered the new year and thinking about things I wanted to accomplish and really taking some time to reflect on exactly what 2020 did bring. And I think the biggest thing for me is quality time. And I think being obviously COVID and the pandemic really brought some hard times for everyone and no one went untouched from the struggles that it brought. And I think one of the biggest things that I have really appreciated is time that I have gotten to spend with myself to do some introspection and to really get into the things that I want to improve upon as a person, as a professional, but also spending quality time with my friends and spending real time with my family. And that is really something that I felt I really wanted to take advantage of. And I'm so grateful that I had all of this time, not necessarily free time, but just quality time and a lot of it because we're home more to just really connect and build new bridges and reestablish relationships, whether it's through a computer or over the phone. I think it really puts into perspective who's important and which relationships you want to focus on. And so I'm really glad that 2020 gave me that opportunity and I'm looking forward to continuing it. So that's my thought. What about you, Betty?
I think personally, certainly, I would echo your comments. I was my family is scattered across the country, so obviously with the limitations, we weren't able to see each other as much as we would have liked. But it definitely made me appreciate the time that we did get to spend together, and I did plenty of virtual cocktail hours with family as well. And, we found ways to keep it fun and, get that quality time together, like you said. I think from a HillVet standpoint, obviously I came on board in December 2019. So got a couple of months of quote unquote normal, and then everything sort of fell apart. But I think the biggest thing that I'm happy and proud about from 2020 is just the way that our community really, dug in and took care of business, particularly our fellows. It was not easy for them, especially the ones who came in right as the pandemic was closing things down. It made things really difficult for them. But, we really saw them dig in, like I said, and just saw what they were made of. And honestly, more importantly than that, I'm just happy that we have been able to keep HillVets House safe and healthy. That to me is, something worth celebrating for sure. So like I said, everybody who's watching, tell us in the comments, what is the best thing that came out of 2020 for you? Personal, professional, either way, we would love to hear from you. And certainly throughout this broadcast, we would love to hear your thoughts. So whatever platform that you're using, if you have a comment field available to you, I'm not sure all of our platforms allow that, but hopefully they do. And let us know what you're thinking. So, I think, again, really happy that the HillVets community, stayed safe and healthy through 2020. But we are working very, very hard, aren't we, Jena, to
Oh man.
really kick 2021 up a notch. Even though I think we've all realized that 2021, nothing magically changed on January 1st, right? So 2021 kind of just looks like 2020 in a trench coat is what I've been saying.
An extended version of it.
Yeah, I saw somebody online saying it's 2020 with bangs. Yeah. So
I feel that so hard.
It's not really different, but we are looking at it, as an opportunity to continue to strengthen the bonds that we have in our community and the relationships that we have, while we are still, limited in our interactions. And then, of course, really preparing ourselves for that moment sometime later this year when hopefully we can all get together again. It's going to be awkward. It's going to be weird, but I can't wait for that. We have a comment here. Erin has said, personally, she was able to reconnect with family and friends, and business-wise pivoted and was able to focus on short and long-term strategy. That pivot is such a great point. And I think we've done a lot of pivoting over the last year, and we'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. But Erin, that's exactly what a lot of folks have been doing. That's great. I want to first start out, before we get into some of our main announcements, I want to start out, Jena, with a quick fellowship update, kind of what's going on with the HillVets House Fellowship as we look to this next year.
Yeah, well, I think the fellowship, as you mentioned, in terms of how our fellows really were able to handle the pandemic and the current situation that everyone has really thrown into, the fellowship definitely was one of the hardest hit aspects of HillVets, I think, because not only were our fellows readjusting, but congressional offices and our partners were adjusting to how they function in a work from home environment and in a virtual environment. So I think the biggest thing that we're really looking forward to in terms of the fellowship is getting back to that kind of not sense of normalcy, but an understanding of how everything is going to function moving forward. And so with the new year, we obviously got some new blood. We got new members of Congress. We're moving into a new legislative session. And so that is really exciting for our fellows because we have all these new opportunities for fellows to get onboarded and to be brought into these offices, and even our past and previous relationships really building on that. So we've really started to see some movement on Capitol Hill, some really understanding of learning how to function with a fellow who's working virtually or who's working in this new environment. And so seeing that movement is really exciting and offers great potential for our fellows. And I'm really excited to collaborate and to build relationships with these new offices and members who have been on the Hill for a while. And so it really offers, not only the new year offers new opportunity, but just moving forward and moving forward in a positive direction, I think is a really great mindset to have. And so with that being said, we have a few new fellows who were just onboarded recently in the past few weeks, and we're really excited to start introducing them to the HillVets community and to our supporters. So I want to encourage everyone to stay tuned for some of those announcements, because it's always really exciting putting out these new fellows and introducing them to everyone who is affiliated with the community and who supports the work. So that's really exciting, getting fresh family members and fresh blood into our community as well. And the other thing I'd love to mention is we're always looking for two things. One of them being applicants. So if you yourself are really interested in applying to the fellowship, I encourage you to visit our social media pages, visit hillvets.org to take a look at the application. If you are someone who really is considering getting into policy and making a transition to Capitol Hill and to policy in general, the fellowship is a really great opportunity for you to do that. And we have had some great experience working with fellows and really assisting them through that process. And so it's a great opportunity for you to apply to it. And we accept applicants on a rolling basis. We're currently still accepting applicants. Though things have definitely been put on pause per se, we're still moving forward and doing our best to accommodate and facilitate those relationships and those fellowship building opportunities for individuals. And then the second thing that I'd like to discuss and mention is our ambassador program. So if you or someone you know works for a member of Congress who would be interested in supporting the program, there is a great opportunity for that office and that member of Congress to support and offer mentorship and get involved in the program. And so I would encourage those individuals or any sort of connections affiliated with members of Congress on Capitol Hill to reach out if you have any interest in that. You can send me an email, you can reach out on our website, anything like that. We're always looking for new relationships and continued relationships on Capitol Hill. So those are main ways you can get involved as an audience and as a supporter and a supporter of HillVets. And I'm really excited for this new year and for this new batch of fellows. And we have a lot of work to do, but we're all willing to really put in the effort and put in the dedication that needs to be successful. So I'm looking forward to it.
Fantastic. Yeah, I'm excited to get our new fellows up and running. We definitely put a pause on things last year, particularly with moving into the House, not only because we wanted to be extra cautious from a COVID standpoint, but because, like you said, the congressional offices needed time to figure out how they were going to run fellowship type programs in this, even a hybrid environment, but even sometimes a full-time virtual environment. So I think, most offices seem to have a pretty good handle on it now. So we're ready to serve. Our fellows are ready to serve, and we're really excited. There's lots of opportunities. So, hint, hint, if you are or are working for one of our new committee members in the veteran and military arena in particular, we'd love to talk to you about how a HillVets fellow can really help you just get started on the strongest possible foot in this 117th Congress.
I would also like to say I've gotten my sales pitch down perfectly, so I will keep your time to a minimum if you're interested. And I think that is really important these days. So I'd love to talk to you.
Absolutely.
Or anyone for that matter.
Absolutely. All right. So next up is our LEAD program. So one of our announcements for today is that applications for LEAD Cohort 5 are open. They went live earlier this week, but we wanted to, come on and officially announce that here as well. It is crazy to me that, first of all, that we've done 4 whole cohorts, but also that we're, back around doing this program again. And the reason we do that is because it is just a great program, and it provides so much value to the participants and to everybody involved with the program. So I wanted to first shout out to LEAD Cohort 4. So you may have seen back in September of last year, Cohort 4 put on an incredible CapCon, which is the conference that's the capstone project for the cohort. It was completely virtual, something we had never done before with LEAD. And not only the sessions, but the actual conference itself was done completely virtually. And I just got a shout out to Cohort 4 for being guinea pigs, first of all, and for being the most pleasant and, go-getter type guinea pigs that we could possibly have asked for. We loved working with everybody, and I think we learned a lot from each other over the course of the cohort. So here's a little bit about what's going to be different moving forward based on some feedback that we got from Cohort 4 participants and the current sort of situation in which we find ourselves. So LEAD is a 12-week leadership program. It's geared towards mid-career professionals in the policy arena, specifically veteran and military policy and also communications. And really, we spend those weeks focusing on leadership, ethics, advocacy, and that constant dedication to self-improvement. Those are sort of the pillars of the LEAD program. And we do that through speakers. We do it through reading and writing exercises. We do it through, networking and group activities. And then, of course, through producing this day-long conference. So it is a wham bam, lots and lots of great skills that you can gain from this 12-week program, and you can meet some people who will absolutely be lifelong, mentors, partners, colleagues, friends, all of the above. It's a really special program. So we did Cohort 4 completely virtually because we felt like we could still provide value even in that kind of environment. And I think the folks who were in cohort 4 would agree that we did that, and they were a huge part of that. The other thing that the virtual platform sort of allowed us to do was, for the first time, open up the program to folks who do not live in the DC area. As we all know, policy doesn't just happen in DC. So it was really fun to get a few participants in the program from other parts of the country. I believe we had California, we had Wisconsin. Jenna, what else? Do we have any other?
We had New York.
New York, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Yep.
So yeah, plus, the DC metro area, but not everybody was in the DC metro area at the time. Some folks were quarantining elsewhere with family or for other obligations. So that virtual component really did allow us to open things up. We want to continue that. We want this program to be available to more people. We know that there are so many more rock stars out there than we see every day in DC. So we're gonna try a hybrid approach. So we're still in restrictions here in DC where gatherings are limited to 10 people or fewer, which, when you factor in Jena and myself and our speaker, that doesn't leave us a whole lot of room for a bunch of lead proteges. So we're going to split this cohort. We always split the cohort into fire teams for CapCon preparation, but we're also going to split the cohort differently into kind of participation groups. I don't think we've found a snazzy name for it yet, but we'll let you know. Jenna's on it. And every week, a different group will be allowed to come to the house and participate with each other in person, with masks and social distancing and hand washing and all of that good stuff that we've come to sort of have automatically in our lives. But that will give folks a chance to sort of rotate in and out of that in-person component. Everybody else who's not participating in person that week will still participate virtually. Of course, we're not going to force anybody into any participation that they're not comfortable with. We know everyone's situation is unique and different, but a lot of the feedback that we got from cohort 4 was that they really did miss that in-person interaction, and even just a little of it would have made a big difference. So that's kind of the biggest difference that we're going to tackle in this next cohort: a hybrid learning environment, virtual and in-person. And we're going to see how that goes. I think it's going to be another trial run, but something that, I think there's some evidence behind what we're trying to do that it would also, kind of increase the ability of the cohort to bond together and work together as a team. So keep that in mind, but we hope you will apply to the program and encourage others to do the same. The other thing that the other thing that's going to be slightly different this year, we're going to make some tweaks to the curriculum. We're going to organize things a little bit differently. We're going to switch out some of the reading. Some of the reading that we do is like tried and true. Every cohort just raves about it. And then, some of the other things that we weave in and out, there's more constructive feedback, let's say that. So we're taking that feedback really seriously, and we just want you to know that we're putting together an absolutely amazing agenda for the 12 weeks, and we can't wait to see all of those applications. Those applications are on the website in the lead section. I don't have a link to them to flash across the bottom of the screen, but I promise you they're there, and they're on our social media platforms as well. And we're at HillVets across all platforms. And another final note from me on this point, we cannot make LEAD happen without our amazing partners. And we have opportunities and space for organizations to partner with us on cohort 5 of LEAD and also cohort 6 that we're going to be doing in the second part of this year. So if you or your company, organization, whatever, have an interest in really amping up the leadership skills of the veteran and military policy community, this is the way for you to get involved. And it's just a really hands-on program that provides, again, value across the board. Jena, why don't you give some LEAD updates and thoughts from your standpoint?
Yeah, thank you. So I am super, super excited about LEAD. Not only we talked about the fellowship and I love the fellowship program, but LEAD was actually really my first kind of introduction into what HillVets and the HillVets community was really all about when I started in my position. And so I've always kind of held a special place for the LEAD program because I think it is just such a unique and opportunistic program for veterans and military spouses and advocates and policy wonks and really anyone who's looking to develop those leadership skills. And I'm super excited to kind of get to see the applicants that we get in and to really get this cohort together and to meet these new people and these new voices that will be added to our community. I think one of the other things that is really exciting about the LEAD application that we have coming up is this next broadcast that we're actually organizing, which I'm encouraging everyone to take your pens out, mark your calendars for February 3rd at 6 p.m. We're going to have our next broadcast. Like I said, it's a part of the HillVets virtual happy hour series, and it's going to be called an inside look at HillVets LEAD. So what's going to happen is I'm going to be joined by 4 fantastic LEAD cohort 4 alumni who are really going to kind of give our audience into what really HillVets LEAD is like. Betty and I could talk for hours about what it is, and we could tell you what it is from our perspective, but it's really awesome to hear from those who have actually gone through the program from a participant perspective. And they're really going to kind of lean into their experiences and really hopefully inspire our audience and our viewers out there to apply and to put your application in, because it doesn't hurt to at least, try and get involved and put some effort into learning about what it is. So I encourage everyone to check that webinar out next week. It's going to be really awesome and it's going to be a fun conversation. And I'm really looking forward to it, not only because we get to present the LEAD program, but because I haven't seen these alumni in so long. And I'm so excited to talk to them and really kind of bring their experiences to everyone out there considering applying. So that's really something exciting coming up. And as Betty said, the application is all on our social media pages and all on our website. If you go to hillvets.org and you click on the LEAD section, you can find it there. And there are some great FAQ documents out there, some great resources that you can find that hopefully will lead you in the right direction to apply for the program. So I'm super excited and really looking forward to the next coming weeks where we finalize the program. So back to you, Betty. What's next?
Awesome. Well, and hopefully everybody can tune in to that webinar next week. If you can't, but you still have questions about LEAD, do not hesitate to reach out to us. Like Jena said earlier, you can reach us, via our social media platforms, but you can also email us. Our emails are not hard to figure out. It is first name at hillvets.org. So Betty and Jena at hillvets.org. Jena is really the one who I think will answer most of your questions. So start with her. If you can stump her, good job is all I gotta say about that. If you can stump her about our programs, you're asking a very unique question.
Tough question, yeah.
Exactly. Thank you so much. All right. So for our sort of main announcement, drum roll, blah, blah, all that. Everyone has been wanting to know about the HillVets 100, and that is very understandable because it is super duper fun and it is a fantastic event. And it's also a fantastic opportunity to recognize some truly excellent people, organizations, groups, really excellent work in our community. As many of you know, we were full speed ahead on the HillVets 100 of 2019, and 2 weeks was how long we had until the gala when COVID shut everything down in mid-March. 2 weeks. So as you can imagine, everything was pretty much done. So of course we were devastated that we weren't going to be able to host the event. And more than anything else, we were devastated for the honorees, who many of them, they work in non-high profile positions. They don't get recognized publicly, but they're just killing it. They're doing great work and they're serving the veteran and military community. And so it was really, really upsetting not to be able to give them their due, not to be able to highlight them in the way that they deserved. So I will go so far as to say we are very hopeful that we will get to host that gala later this year. I'm not going to say anything other than that because I don't want to jinx it. But let's just say that we are doing everything that we possibly can do that we have in our control. Obviously, COVID is not under our control. Otherwise, we would have wrapped this up a long time ago. that's how good we are. But COVID is not under our control, but we're taking care of all the things that are within our control to try to make this happen safely if we can. Of course, if it's not going to be safe, we're not going to do it. But we are really pushing to be able to do that later this year. But in the meantime, Jena and I have been just racking our brains for months thinking, what can we do so that these folks get the honoring, the recognition, the celebration that they really deserve for their great work. So we have come up with a virtual series that we think everybody's going to have a lot of fun with. So today we're going to announce that we are rolling out, starting next week, the HillVets 100 in 100. Yeah, we should have had theme music. We should have worked on that. So the idea behind the HillVets 100 in 100 is not to just rehash the same social media announcements that we made last year around this time when we released the list, because nobody needs that. We've already done that. Rather, what we view this virtual series to be is an opportunity for us to highlight our honorees, many of our honorees. We're not going to be able to cover everybody, but to highlight many of our honorees in a new and interesting way, and to also catch up with them about what they've been doing during the past year, because they've done great work that got them nominated and selected for the HillVets 100. So you know that they haven't stopped that great work just because of COVID. Mm-hmm. So we want to catch up with as many of them as possible, really highlight their work, catch up on what they've been doing, and give you all out there an inside look at all of that. So the HillVets 100 in 100 is basically 100 days of a multimedia series that's going to take you through many of our honorees and are going to present their work and their backgrounds and their accomplishments, like I said, in just new and interesting ways. I feel like talking about it, I can't really capture it because there's a visual in my head that I'm not able to communicate.
Mm-hmm. I think sorry, Betty, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I think it's also hard to communicate when it's like these are going to be products and like visual representation. So it's like we can't tell you what it is. We can just show you when we're ready to put it out there. So I think that's an exciting part of it.
Yeah. Think about, okay, so we're going to have videos. We're going to have live interviews, broadcasts, kind of like this. We're going to have webinars. We're going to have podcasts. We're going to have, of course, some, photos and more, static stuff. But we really want this to be a dynamic look at these dynamic people and organizations. Mm-hmm. You're not going to be able to, shake hands with them and, schmooze with them over a drink like we would have at a gala, but you're going to get a different look at it and you're going to learn something. You're going to be impressed by all these incredible people. You're going to want to get more involved. And it's just a great opportunity to expose some awesome stuff to a larger audience. Like I said, a lot of our honorees, they don't do what they do for recognition. They don't do it in the public eye, but we're going to put them out there in the public eye with their permission, of course, and really allow them to show you what they can do. And we're super duper excited about it. We are partnering with our friends at JP Morgan Chase to bring you this virtual series, this promotion. And like I said, we're going to start rolling out content starting next week. So again, at HillVets, all of our social media platforms and all the ways that you get information about HillVets, that's where you'll need to be starting next week. And for 100 days, we're gonna roll out some really awesome stuff, and we can't wait to hear what you all think about it. If you have any questions, or if you also want to get involved with this promotion, we would love to hear from you. Yeah, we're just really excited. Again, I think we're not doing, I won't say I am not doing it justice right now, but stay tuned. And I think you'll be really excited to see what we have coming forward. Jenna, can you do a better job than I'm doing?
Well, I think you're doing a good job at, giving kind of the little bits of it so people have things to look forward to because we don't want to give it all away at once. And we
True.
want to, encourage everyone to kind of keep an eye out and to stay engaged. And I think that is part of it is that it's this promotion that we're putting together and it's so exciting and it's so new and fresh. And so I think coming along for that journey is going to be part of the experience as well. And it's going to be really, really different and really engaging for our audience and for our community, but also, like you were saying, for these honorees, all these discussions, all these new materials and ideas and things that they're all working on is going to be really refreshing to have these types of conversations and present this type of media in this digital platform. And so I think, especially since digitalness is all we can really rely on, since we're not meeting in person and doing all these things, just staying engaged and keeping your eye out is really how that's going to be done. So it's exciting. It's kind of daunting on our end, but we're really looking forward to putting it together. And another thing that you can also do to keep in touch, if you haven't signed up for our email list, you can go to hillvets.org and put your email in and sign up for that. That's also a great resource for you to stay up to date on all things HillVets and to really receive that information right in your inbox. You don't have to search for it at all. So I'm really looking forward to it.
And since we just came out of election season, don't worry, it's not that many emails.
Yeah. It's like one.
Everybody's very wary about handing out their email addresses, and I completely understand that coming out of election season for sure, especially since there were some runoffs that just extended the emails. I think this will be hard for Jenna because she has never attended a HillVets 100 gala before. But
you have to bring that up, Betty. You just have to.
I'm so sorry. I think about the cocktail hour before the program officially starts, where everybody just kind of mingles and talks to one another and makes those connections, talks about their work. We can't really replicate that. Nobody wants to go to a Zoom happy hour like that. Nobody, especially 10 months into this thing.
Oh, no.
But so we're replicating it in a way that we feel like people will actually want to participate. They'll want to watch. They'll want to engage. So taking the weird, awkward Zoom stuff out of it and just leaving you with like the good, meaty awesomeness of our honorees. And just one last note, we will be, the 100 for 2019 were already selected, and we did not select a new bunch for 2020 because we didn't feel right doing that while the 2019 honorees had not gotten their chance to shine. But we are going to be releasing a nomination form for some select new honorees. And think people and groups who have just been doing exceptional work during COVID, despite the limitations and obstacles that this pandemic has placed in front of us. So start thinking about that. We'll be releasing that nomination form. It's not going to be another 100. It's only going to be a handful, but we know that there are people out there doing great things who also deserve to be recognized. So we're excited about all of that. That's it for now. We're really excited. Stay tuned next week. Jenna, anything else on your end?
I don't think so. Just, I want to say thank you to you and to all of our supporters and community for tuning in to announcements like these and really sticking by us during everything COVID and this past year and these past months. We, really wouldn't be able to do what we do without any of you all. And so I think these projects are to remain engaged and to remain consistent with our engagement. And so I'm really excited, and hope everyone out there is as well. And it's going to be a really refreshing and unique next 100 days of this promotion. So I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. And thank you for those of you who tuned in tonight. We are always available if you have questions or concerns. If you're watching this broadcast later because you couldn't tune in live, you can still feel free to ask us questions in the comments. We will definitely get to them. And of course, you can always reach out to us, again, email or through our other social media platforms.
Guava wants to say bye.
Guava is telling me that it's time to go. So we hope everyone has had a great start to 2021, that you're all safe and healthy and well, and that your families are as well. And we can't wait till we get to see you all again.
Mhm.
So we will start seeing you next week for the HillVets 100 and 100, and get those lead applications in too.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.